Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Shilpa Sharma, and I'm coming to you live from Avaya Fertility Clinic, Noida. Let me introduce you first myself. I have, after completing my post graduation from Delhi, I did my postdoctoral fellowship in reproductive medicine for 2 years, and following which I have been practicing IVF since almost 10 years now. Now, let me briefly introduce you the topic that we are going to discuss today. The topic that we are discussing today are basically that repeated IVF failure. हम आज बात करेंगे repeated IVF failure के बारे में. Repeated IVF failure क्या होता है? जब आपके 3 consecutive IVF fail होते हैं जिनके अंदर 4 या 4 से ज़्यादा गुड क्वालिटी आपके एम्ब्रियोज डाले गए हैं एंड उसके बाद भी आपके आईवीएफ फेल होता है, तब हम उसको रिपीटेड आईवीएफ फेलियर कहते हैं. नाउ काफ़ी सेंटर्स में 2 या 2 से ज़्यादा एम्ब्रियोज भी डाले जाते हैं और ऐसे केस में अगर आपका एक आईवीएफ में 4 एम्ब्रियोज डाले गए हैं एंड देन इट हैज़ फेल्ड, तो ये आपका रिपीटेड आईवीएफ फेलियर में नहीं आएगा. इसमें बहुत ज़रूरी है कि नंबर ऑफ एम्ब्रियोज के साथ साथ कितने ट्रांसफर्स आपके हुए हैं. So, if you have had 3 consecutive IVF failures with good quality embryos, यानी कि जो embryos डाले गए हैं उनकी quality काफ़ी अच्छी रही है, तो हम इसको repeated IVF failure कहते हैं. Now, IVF एक काफ़ी अच्छा boon रहा है to the struggling couples. It has really given a lot of hope and a lot of advantage to the patient, especially with the improvement in the outcomes that are coming with with the number of the years, the number of the experience that we are getting. The chances of success have gone from 10 or 15% when it started to almost 50 to 60% now with each transfer. But with that, we have also come to a challenge of repeated IVF failure that has also come up with the number of the IVF which is being आज की डेट में जो यूटिलाइजेशन हो रहा है IVF के साथ, तो उसके साथ साथ ये प्रॉब्लम भी, ये चैलेंज भी हमारे सामने इमर्ज हो रहा है. सो हम आज इसी के बारे में बात करेंगे क्योंकि being a highly developed, we are a tertiary center with everything that is available under one roof. So हमारे पास काफ़ी पेशेंट्स आते हैं जो डिफरेंट सेंटर्स से IVF फेल होके भी they come and ask us the question, why our IVF has failed. So we are going to discuss about the reasons why IVF has failed and what can be done so that we don't are disappointed the next time when we go ahead with IVF. We don't face that failure again. So what all should be taken care of before starting a repeat cycle, and what can be done during a repeat cycle, and what to expect later. So briefly coming to the reason why an IVF may fail, what happens is when the patient comes, they say that, see, you have had my egg you say is fine, the sperms have come out, you have created an embryo out of which, and you have transferred a normal looking healthy, what looks like a healthy embryo outside, you have transferred into a lining which may also look to be good, and still it has failed. Why? What could be the reason why it has failed? And the reason basically, so we are going to talk about what you should understand why this has failed. Now, broadly, हम जो reasons हैं for IVF failure, we break it into 2 different categories. One is what we call as the maternal factor, basically because the mother is one source who will be carrying a pregnancy, and the second reason will count as an embryonic or embryo factor, because there are 2 different components that are working together. There is a crosstalk, the crosstalk that happens between the uterus, the lining of the uterus, the endometrium, and the embryo, and when they talk to each other, when they interact, that is when the embryo and the embryo would implant or may attach into the यूट्रस, और उसके बाद वो जब इम्प्लांट करेगा तभी वो ग्रो करेगा, एंड दैट इज व्हेन the embryo would grow into the uterus and it will result in a pregnancy. एंड हेंस हमने अपने जो आज के टॉक है उसको दो डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज में डिवाइड किया है. वन विच वुड बी मैटरनल फैक्टर, या जो मैटरनल जो हम डिस्कशन करेंगे फैक्टर्स की, और एक है जो हमारे एम्ब्रियोनिक फैक्टर्स होंगे. नाउ बेसिकली जो हमारे मैटरनल फैक्टर्स हैं, जो इम्प्लांटेशन है, क्योंकि वो यूट्रस के अंदर ग्रो करता है एम्ब्रियोज, तो इसीलिए एक मैटरनल फैक्टर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है. द रीज़न बीइंग जो यूट्रस है उसकी एक लाइनिंग डेवलप होती है. जब वो लाइनिंग एप्रोप्रिएट लगती है तभी उसके अंदर जाके एम्ब्रियो इम्प्लांट करता है और ग्रो होता है. नाउ यूजुअली एक एम्ब्रियो का इम्प्लांटेशन रेट या पोटेंशियल अराउंड 25% के आसपास होता है. एंड यूट्रस के अंदर जब ये इम्प्लांट करता है तो जब लाइनिंग बहुत अच्छी होती है तब हमें ये इम्प्लांटेशन रेट मिलता है. एंड इसीलिए यूट्रस की लाइनिंग बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. लेकिन अगर हमारा जो एम्ब्रियो है वो इम्प्लांट नहीं हुआ है तो हम ये सजेस्ट करते हैं कि एक अच्छा इवैल्यूएशन यूट्रस का होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. दो 3D अल्ट्रासाउंड आज की डेट में सब जगह अवेलेबल है. एंड हम वो 3D अल्ट्रासाउंड करके यूट्रस के बारे में एक बहुत अच्छा नॉलेज गेन कर सकते हैं. बट स्टिल हमारे को कई बार सोफिस्टिकेटेड टेक्निक्स सच एज हिस्ट्रोस्कोपी के लिए, विच इज़ कैमरा, वो हम यूट्रस के अंदर डाल के जब हम देखते हैं तो हमें पता चलता है कि यूट्रस एक्चुअली में कैसा है. क्या उसके अंदर कोई फॉल्ट तो नहीं है, क्या उसके अंदर कोई एडहेशन हो, कोई पॉलिप हो, कोई फाइब्रॉइड हो, जो हम अनफॉर्चुनेटली अल्ट्रासाउंड में वेरी लो पॉसिबिलिटी कि वो, जैसे एडहेशन काफ़ी बार मिस हो जाता है. पॉलिप एंड फाइब्रॉइड आप पिक कर पाते हैं लेकिन एडेशन आप मिस कर जाते हैं, या एक बहुत थिन सेप्टम हो तो उस अंदर जाके जब हम देखते हैं कि कोई इन्फेक्शन तो नहीं है, एंडोमेट्राइटिस तो नहीं है, तो हम उसको ट्रीट कर सकते हैं. लाइक अगर सेप्टम है तो हम उसको कट कर सकते हैं, एडेशन है तो हम उसको कट कर सकते हैं, क्रॉनिक एंडोमेट्राइटिस है तो हम उसका सैंपल भेज के चेक कर सकते हैं कि इन्फेक्शन है कि नहीं, एंड उसको फिर हम लॉन्ग टर्म एंटीबायोटिक्स के साथ ट्रीट कर सकते हैं. एंड वंस वी नो दैट दिस हैज़ बीन डन, एंड तब उसके बाद हम अगर लाइनिंग बना के एम्ब्रियोज डालें तो द पॉसिबिलिटी कि हमारे ये चांसेस कि एम्ब्रियो इम्प्लांट करेंगे एंड वी वुड बी एबल टू गेट अ सक्सेस इज हायर. एंड हेंस वन ऑफ द टेस्ट जो हमारे को रिकमेंडेड है आफ्टर रिपीटेड IVF फेलियर, दैट इज योर हिस्ट्रोस्कोपी. एक अनदर रीज़न जो हम देखते हैं कि अल्ट्रासाउंड के टाइम पे गुड इवैल्यूएशन ऑफ लाइनिंग बहुत ज़रूरी है. सो आपका जो लाइनिंग का, अगर सपोज आप दूसरे सेंटर से आते हैं या कहीं जाते हैं तो अगर आप अपनी पुरानी पिक्चर्स लेके आ सके ताकि उससे हमें पता चले कि आपकी लाइनिंग कैसी रही है, वो एक बहुत ही हेल्पफुल रहता है. बिकॉज वी आर एबल टू सी हाउ गुड योर लाइनिंग इज टू. सो इज इट अ गुड थिकनेस. यूजुअली एक एप्रोप्रिएट थिकनेस हम यूजुअली एनीथिंग मोर देन 7 लेते हैं. सो इफ द लाइनिंग हैज़ बीन 8, 9 or it has been on a thinner side like 6, so that will give us a very very important information about why the previous cycles have failed. तो इसलिए पुराना information हमारे लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है. Apart from that, if you are able to understand the, if अगर आपको ये मिल सके कि आपका blood flow कैसा रहा है to the lining, बेसिकली अगर अच्छी अल्ट्रासाउंड मशीन है तो उसके अंदर हम ब्लड फ्लो डाल के, कलर फ्लो डाल के हम ये भी देख सकते हैं कि ब्लड फ्लो टू द यूट्रस कैसा है. बिकॉज इफ द ब्लड फ्लो टू योर लाइनिंग इज गुड, then the chances of implantation of your embryos have been found to be better. And hence, if you are able to get those information for us, and then we are able to guide you better. And also, if your lining has been thin, then doing a hysteroscopy or doing other techniques that are available to us, like we do at our center, we have the techniques to do intrauterine PRP therapies. एंड वो जो प्लेटलेट रिच थेरेपी हम जब करते हैं तो उससे जो आपके चांसेस हैं लाइनिंग को अच्छा ग्रो होने का, वो एंड अगर अच्छी लाइनिंग होगी, ब्लड फ्लो अच्छा होगा, तो उससे आपके चांसेस एम्ब्रियो के इम्प्लांट होने के इम्प्रूव होते हैं. सो हेंस इफ योर लाइनिंग इज थिन, so we are able to do these repeated procedures like GCSF or PRP, or help you with medicines like aspirin, sildenafil, to build up your lining and also improve the blood flow to the lining of the uterus. which enhances the potential for the embryo to implant and grow further. Apart from that, the other maternal factors that we are going to talk about briefly are your endocrine. How has your thyroid been? How has your diabetes been? दो यूजुअली ये फैक्टर्स बहुत रेयरली मिलते हैं क्योंकि मोस्ट ऑफ दीज आर डिटेक्टेड बाय अ सिंपल ब्लड टेस्ट एंड हेंस ट्रीटेड बिफोर हैंड. बट कई बार हो सकता है कि ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम द टेस्ट हैव नॉट बीन रिपीटेड एंड इट हैज बीन मिस्ड एंड कई बार वो फैक्टर करेक्ट करने पे भी ये हम जो फेलियर है उसको हम ट्रीट कर पाते हैं एंड वी आर एबल टू लीड यू टू सक्सेस. इसके अलावा अदर फैक्टर्स दैट शुड बी लुक्ड ऑन टू आर द थ्रोम्बोफिलियाज. तो थ्रोम्बोफिलियाज जो होते हैं ये हमारा एक काइंड ऑफ प्रॉब्लम होता है जिसके अंदर जो हमारी खून जमने की जो क्षमता है या जो हम ब्लड क्लॉटिंग कहते हैं उसकी जो पोटेंशियल होता है विच इज लिटिल हायर देन दी नॉर्मल. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज दैट द जो आपकी थिन ब्लड वेसल्स होती हैं उनके अंदर आपके जो ब्लड है वो क्लॉट हो जाता है. सिमिलरली यूट्रस के अंदर भी अगर सपोज आपके थ्रोम्बोफिलिक फैक्टर्स पॉजिटिव हैं तो ये जो यूट्रस के अंदर फाइन ब्लड वेसल्स होते हैं ये आपके क्लॉट हो जाते हैं एंड द ब्लड फ्लो टू द यूट्रस में बी और टू द लाइनिंग में बी रिड्यूस एंड द एम्ब्रियो मे नॉट ग्रो एंड हेंस वी डू दिस ब्लड टेस्ट टू सी कि कहीं आपका ये थ्रोम्बोफिलिक फैक्टर्स इनके अंदर बहुत सारी चीज़ें आती है लाइक एंटीफॉस्फोलिपिड एंटीबॉडीज ल्यूपस एंटीकोआगुलेंट्स एंड ये सब हम टेस्ट करते हैं एंड इफ फाउंड देन दीज आर वेरी इजीली ट्रीटेबल विद blood thinners like ecosprin and empirical lonopin or therapies. And ये हम usually use करते हैं especially in patients with repeated IVF failures. And हमने देखा है कि इससे the chances to success have improved. Apart from this, there is another thing that we usually test or we recommend to do is an immunological test, though it is a very very controversial topic. But sometimes when you're not able to find any other factor, then we may keep this test as the last test to look at कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं है that there are some immunological reason why the embryo is not implanting. And इसके लिए काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें available हैं which may be a last line resort like IVIG, intralipids, and all these are being used nowadays very often. And we have seen that when we are using these things, then sometimes it may help in improving the results when you don't find any other factor. So because we use it very very rarely and when everything else is failing, and so after when you have done that you have done a hysteroscopy, you have done other ways to check the embryos are normal. आपने लाइनिंग की इम्प्रूवमेंट के लिए आपने GCSF कर लिया है, आपने PRP कर लिया है एंड वी ऑल्सो डू एंडोमेट्रियल स्क्रैचिंग. एंडोमेट्रियल स्क्रैचिंग के अंदर हम क्या करते हैं कि जब जिस साइकिल में हम ट्रांसफ़र करना चाहते हैं उससे एक साइकिल पहले ल्यूटियल फेज में या जस्ट बिफोर द साइकिल स्टार्टिंग और जस्ट एट द इनिशियल पार्ट ऑफ द साइकिल यू जस्ट स्क्रैच द लाइनिंग विद अ वेरी वेरी जेंटल कैथेटर. तो उससे क्या होता है कि ये जो आपकी बॉडी के ये जो इम्यूनोजेनिक फैक्टर्स होते हैं जो यूट्रस के अंदर के जो सब्सटेंसेस होते हैं जो काफ़ी स्टडीज़ के बाद देखा गया है कि आपकी इम्प्लांटेशन को इम्प्रूव करता है दी साइटोकाइंस बेसिकली. सो दे मे एक्चुअली these substances improve the crosstalk between the embryo and the endometrium. एंड आपने ESB कर लिया क्योंकि ये सारे ड्रास्टिक मेजर्स आप एंड में यूज़ करते हैं व्हेन यू हैव डन द फर्स्ट लाइन थिंग लाइक द हिस्ट्रोस्कोपी, द सेकंड लाइन थिंग लाइक द working on the lining, the third line thing like when you're working on the embryo. We are going to talk about that later in the discussion. When you have done all of that and still things are not working, then you start looking at these factors like the immunological causes or the immunogenic causes. Now coming to a very very important topic जो आजकल बहुत ही recently develop हुआ है during this last 5-6 years and has really gained its momentum in this last 3-4 years is the ERA test or the endometrial receptivity array. and we are doing it very when the patients who are two IVF or 3 IVF failure, तो हम इनके बारे में इनके बारे में सॉरी आई वाज लुकिंग एट द क्वेश्चंस, वी विल टेक देम लेटर. सो जब हमारी लाइनिंग के ऊपर आप वर्क कर रहे हैं, मैटरनल फैक्टर्स के दौरान हम बात कर रहे हैं, जब हमारी जो एंडोमेट्रियल रिसेप्टिविटी एरे है, ये एक तरीके का जेनेटिक टेस्टिंग है. ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ लॉट ऑफ रिसर्चेस जो हम हो रहे हैं इन IVF टू लर्न मोर एंड मोर, because see, it is such a new topic. IVF has come into prominence. The first IVF baby was born about 41-42 years back, though it is being studied for 50-60 years. But the recent advances that have started to come have been majorly in the breakthroughs that we have had are in 15-20 years. And अभी इसके अंदर रिसेंटली जो अभी आ रहा है, जिनको हम ओमिक्स कहते हैं, द जीनोमिक्स, द जीनोमिक्स, उसके अंदर एक बड़ा टॉपिक है दी एरा. दी एरा टेस्टिंग इज बेसिकली हम जो आपका यूट्रस है, जिस टाइम पे एम्ब्रियो को इम्प्लांट होना है, यानी कि जब हम अगर अपनी बायोलॉजी की क्लासेस के पीछे जाते हैं, जब हम 8th क्लास 9th क्लास में हम पढ़ते हैं, तो हमने बड़ा ये पढ़ा है, एंड NCERT बुक्स में बड़ा क्लियरली लिखा हुआ है कि एक ओव्यूलेशन होता है, ओव्यूलेशन के बाद एक फर्टिलाइजेशन होता है, एंड उसके 3 से 4 दिन के बाद, यानी कि ओव्यूलेशन के 5 से 6 दिन के बाद, ये जो आपका एम्ब्रियो है, ये आपका लाइनिंग में आता है और इम्प्लांट करता है. एंड ये जो विंडो ऑफ इम्प्लांटेशन, इस टर्म को जो हम कहते हैं, ये बेसिकली 2 दिन के लिए खुली होती है. नाउ एक ये बहुत ही ब्रॉड अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, लेकिन अब हम ये जानते हैं कि देयर आर सर्टेन सेट ऑफ फ्यू पेशेंट्स जिनके अंदर ये विंडो ऑफ इम्प्लांटेशन एक बहुत बड़े टाइम के लिए, यानी कि जो हमें पता है कि ये 5 to 6 डेज के बाद खुलती है, 24 to 48 आवर्स के लिए खुली रहती है, ये ऐसा नहीं होता है. In a very small group of patients, this window of implantation will only be open for a very, very small duration of time, for about 6 hours, and only at a specific time. यानी कि वो 5 to 6 days की स्पेसिफिसिटी नहीं होती है. मे बी इट विल ओपन एट day 4, or maybe after ovulation, or it may open at even up to day 7, that even at day 5, day 6 it may not open, it may open at day 7 only. And hence, तो अगर आप अपनी उस अंडरस्टैंडिंग के साथ day 5 या day 6 पे ट्रांसफर कर रहे होते हैं, तो वो ये वर्क नहीं करेगा, क्योंकि आपने वो शॉर्ट विंडो को हिट ही नहीं किया. क्योंकि ये जो स्टडीज हुई हैं, ये ऑन बेसिस ऑफ जीन्स हुई हैं, बिकॉज अब हमें पता है कि दे आर सर्टेन सेट ऑफ फ्यू जीन्स, लाइक 200 नॉट फ्यू जीन्स बट मेनी जीन्स, 238 जीन्स अप्रॉक्सीमेटली, एंड ये अप रेगुलेट एंड डाउन रेगुलेट होते हैं. एंड उसी टाइम पे ये बेसिकली ये इनका अगर बैलेंस नहीं है ठीक उस टाइम पे, एंड व्हेन this balance of up regulation and down regulation is exactly correct, it is only then the embryo may implant. And hence in few patients where you feel that the lining is good, the embryos are good, you don't find any other factor, then this ERA test truly helps, because we have had multiple patients who have really done wonders with this ERA test, because we were able to time the transfer very correctly. We are able to hit that window, and we've seen the patients to get pregnant. And hence this ERA test is recommended for patients where you don't find any other reason why the IVF is failing, and this ERA test really helps. I think mainly जो maternal factors हैं वो इसी पे ही रहते हैं कि यूट्रस और उसकी लाइनिंग कैसी है, whether the uterus is good, the lining is good, and it is receptive. And apart from that, there would be other general medical problems like the thrombophilias or the other immunogenic causes. And mainly, if all of these are taken care of, then we come to another broad area where which is the embryonic factor. Because even if you're able to treat these things and your embryos are even if they are very good looking, then sometimes there are internal factors in the embryos where it may not work. And अब हम broadly उन्हीं के बारे में, embryonic factors के बारे में we will discuss. So coming to our second player, which is the embryo. सो एम्ब्रियोनिक फैक्टर्स में जो मेनली देखा गया है कि जो एक अच्छा एम्ब्रियो है उसका एक अपना इम्प्लांटेशन रेट होगा, एक अपना एक रेट होता है प्रेगनेंसी देने का. नाउ ये जो रेट है वो डिपेंड करता है कि वो कौन सा डे का एम्ब्रियो है, कि वेदर इट इज़ अ डे 3 एम्ब्रियो, वेदर इट इज़ अ डे 5 एम्ब्रियो, और एंड उसका ग्रेड, कि वो ग्रेड कैसा है उसका, वेदर इट इज़ अ गुड ग्रेड एम्ब्रियो, it's an average grade, and sometimes a poor grade embryo would definitely not give you a pregnancy, or may have a very low chance to give you a pregnancy. And hence embryo ki understanding is very important. And coming to why the potential to embryo, that even if we have the embryo, why it is not 100% implantable, we have to look at those causes also, कि वो क्यों 100% नहीं है. जो सबसे बड़ा रीज़न देखा गया है एम्ब्रियो के इम्प्लांट नहीं करने का, वो होता है कि उसका जो क्रोमोसोमल मेकअप है या जो कैरियोटाइपिंग है वो देखा गया है कि अब नॉर्मल है. रीसेंट स्टडीज़ ये कहती हैं कि जो हम ये जानते हैं कि 25 to 40% ऑफ द एम्ब्रियोज नॉर्मली मे बी अब नॉर्मल. यानी कि अगर हमारे पास 10 एम्ब्रियो हैं तो उसमें से 3 या 4 एम्ब्रियोज अब नॉर्मली होंगे, तो यानी कि या तो उनके अंदर पोटेंशियल नहीं होगा इम्प्लांट होने का, या अगर वो इम्प्लांट होंगे तो उनके अंदर द पोटेंशियल टू अबॉर्ट इज हायर. नाउ व्हाई इज दिस सीन इज फर्स्ट that the reason why there is such high problem in the embryo is basically first that it may arise from the egg, because जब oocyte mature होता है, so as the age of the woman increases, the chances of the oocyte to have a problem or the oocyte to have a abnormality is very high. जैसे जैसे एज, अगर आप यंगर एज में है अराउंड 25, योर चांसेस कि एग के अंदर प्रॉब्लम होगी इज लेस, एंड एज यू एज, एज यू ग्रो, द चांसेस ऑफ द एग टू हैव अ प्रॉब्लम इज हायर. नाउ दिस प्रॉब्लम इज बिकॉज जो हमारे एग्स हैं वो एक डिटर्मिन्ड है, एक फाइनाइट नंबर ऑफ एग्स के साथ हम हमारा बर्थ होता है. सो आवर एग्स आर बेसिकली कलेक्टेड एट द टाइम ऑफ द बर्थ व्हेन वी आर इन आवर मदर्स वूम, एंड एज दे एज, because the material in the egg is also aging, and hence at the time when they grow and they mature and they basically are released into the body to get fertilized, at that time when they actually are fertilizing and they are maturing, so there is a process of meiosis that happens. The chromosome basically segregates and then it meets again with the sperm, and when this egg and the sperm meet, then at that point there may be some at that point, because of the those genetic material may not fuse well or may not divide well, and at that point the problems may arise. Or so the problem may arise at the time of the egg maturing, or when the egg and the sperm may be coming together. And sometimes it may also be seen that the sperm may, because of some reason, may have their own abnormality, and they would transfer that abnormality to the egg or the embryo. And hence during this chromatin segregation, जब वो फ्यूज हो रहे होते हैं एंड ग्रो हो रहे होते हैं, इट मे हैपन दैट द कैरियोटाइपिंग और द क्रोमोसोमल एबनॉर्मैलिटीज में डेवलप इनटू द एम्ब्रियो. during lot of studies it has been found that जिन लोगों के अंदर जहाँ पे हमने बोला कि 25 to 40% of your embryos may have problem, but it has been seen that in patients जिनके अंदर repeated failures हो रहे हैं, repeatedly they are failing, then these abnormalities have been found to be as high as 2/3 of all their embryos, यानी कि the exact figure approximately is about 67%. तो यानी कि 67% of your embryos are found to be abnormal, as compared to maybe 30-35% of when your embryos are abnormal. So one of the tests that we also recommend the parents are the karyotyping of the husband and the wife, because कई बार उनके अंदर एक balanced translocation हो सकता है. The balanced translocations basically जब आप डेवलप हो रहे हैं, when you are born, then sometimes your chromosome के अंदर एक small genetic material from one chromosome may shift into the other chromosome, so you may be abnormal, you may be normal, But what happens when during the segregation, when the egg and the sperm are fusing, then this abnormality may create an unbalanced embryo, and hence that may also cause a failure. And to detect these type of the problems, that is the arising of the abnormality in the embryo because of a balanced translocation in the parents, or a mutation or a problem that is arising during the segregation of the chromatin or the chromosomal or your genetic material while your embryos are forming. So we need to do something, a very specialized test known as PGS previously, and now this has the term has changed to PGTA. Now basically PGS is basically the pre-implantation genetic screening of the embryos. Basically, when the embryo is developing outside, when we have collected the egg, when we have collected the sperm, we have made them to fuse in the lab, we have formed embryo. Then when the embryo reaches a day 5, yani the blastocyst stage, that's when we hatch the embryo a bit. We take a few cells, about 5 to 6 cells from your embryo, and the taking of these cells will not damage your embryo, या आपके embryo को harm नहीं करता है. And when हम ये जो cells हैं, फिर हम इनको testing के लिए भेजते हैं, देखने के लिए कि ये embryo normal है कि नहीं, because when you transfer normal embryo जो genetically tested है, then the chances of this embryo to implant and give you a pregnancy is much higher than transferring an embryo which may would have been abnormal and it would not result in a pregnancy. And hence PGS is recommended when patients have had multiple failures before, but it is a very specialized test. The embryologists require a special training for this, and hence most of the centers would not offer that to you in spite of failures, and they straight away ask you to go for donor gametes or something. But this is something that can be used if you are young, your reserve is good, because we need to have a good number of good quality embryos to do this test. कि हम एक या दो एम्ब्रियो में टेस्ट नहीं कर सकते, हमें ज़्यादा नंबर ऑफ एम्ब्रियोज चाहिए, बिकॉज जहाँ पे हमने बोला कि हम ये जानते हैं कि मोस्ट ऑफ आवर एम्ब्रियोज आर गोइंग टू बी abnormal. But even if you have small number of embryos, then you can do this test, because it may still you would know one of the reasons why you have failed. It may tell you that the reason of failure may have been that the embryos won't have been normal at that point of time when your transfers have happened, and maybe that is the reason of failure. The other things that can be used are in the embryo कि आप जो embryos हैं उनको grow करें, आप उनको blastocyst stage तक लेके जाएं, क्योंकि most centers आज की डेट में day 3 तक embryos के transfer करते हैं. But what happens is कि day 3 के अंदर जो आपका paternal जेनेटिक मटेरियल है, यानी कि हस्बैंड का जेनेटिक मटेरियल है, वो अभी तक एक्टिव नहीं होता है. एंड इफ सपोज the reason of some problem to arise because of the male factor, तो वो कई बार आप डिटेक्ट नहीं कर पाते हैं कि डे 3 पे आपके एम्ब्रियोज अच्छे लग रहे हैं, बट व्हाट हैपेंस कि डे 5 पे वो एक अच्छा एम्ब्रियो में जनरेट नहीं हो रहा है, एंड आपने अपनी तरफ से तो आपको लगता है कि हमारे एम्ब्रियोज अच्छे हैं, but the point is कि they have not been tested properly to a potential when it actually gives you a pregnancy. They have not been grown from a day 3 to day 5, and hence you don't know whether it is actually a good embryo or not. Because day 5 is the actual time for it to implant and give you a pregnancy, and hence if you are repeatedly failing with a day 3 embryo, so maybe it is a good thing to grow them to day 5, see whether it has a potential to grow from a day 3 to day 5, and then transfer. And the potential to give a pregnancy by a day 5 or a blastocyst is much higher than a day 3, and hence it may even result in a successful conception and implantation. The other thing that that you can try is a laser assisted hatching, but it is a very controversial thing, because assisted hatching has not been seen in very long studies, in very high level studies, to actually give you any higher advantage over a blastocyst or a PGS or any other thing maybe, because लेजर असिस्टेड हैचिंग के जो रिजल्ट्स हैं वो बेसिकली हैच्ड एंड नॉन हैच्ड एम्ब्रियोज में बहुत ज़्यादा डिफरेंट नहीं देखा गया है, एंड इसलिए लेजर असिस्टेड हैचिंग आई हैव केप्ट एट द लास्ट टू डिस्कस बिकॉज उसका बहुत ज़्यादा एडवांटेज नहीं देखा गया है. सो मे बी इट इज़ अ गुड थिंग फर्स्ट दैट you grow your embryos from day 3 to day 5, you convert them into a blastocyst, and if possible, if you can afford, if you can do, then do a PGS, see whether your embryos are normal and not, and then you transfer these embryos into a good looking endometrium, which if possible अगर आप एरा कर सकते हैं and you can find out your window, then you would have a very high success rates. Another thing that we briefly want to touch about is the male factor. कई बार आपके if अगर आप एक sperm DNA fragmentation करा सकते हैं तो we can have an understanding कि कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं है कि all other factors may be normal, but it is basically the sperm के अंदर का जो DNA material है वो fragmented है, which can happen due to various reasons, maybe because of a medical disorder in the male, or maybe because of pollution, because of smoking, or sometimes it has been seen that the DNA fragmentation may be high because of no other reason, and you just don't find a reason why the DNA fragmentation is very high. And if you are able to do a DNA fragmentation, then you know that you can put this then you can use different techniques to select a good quality sperm, and then you transfer when you are able to select a good sperm and you're able to fertilize the egg with a better selected sperm, then you're able to achieve a good quality embryo. The way that you can do these there are various techniques where IMSI is used. IMSI is that you basically morphologically select a good quality sperm via higher magnification टेक्निक, जहाँ पे अगर आप स्पर्म्स हम नॉर्मली इक्सी में या आईवीएफ में हमसे इक्सी में जब हम सिलेक्ट करते हैं तो आप उनको एक 400 मैग्निफिकेशन पे चेक करके सिलेक्ट कर रहे होते हैं, बट इमसी के अंदर आप इनको 600x टाइम्स यानी कि 6000 टाइम्स मैग्नीफाई करके फिर सिलेक्ट करके फिर आप यूज़ करते हैं, तो उससे इम्प्लांटेशन का जो पोटेंशियल है दैट इज़ मच मोर इंक्रीज्ड. So you can put them in antioxidants so that the body is dewashed of the reactive oxygen species or ROS, and जो ROS जब आपकी बॉडी से रिड्यूस होता है तो उससे जो स्पर्म होता है वो बेटर क्वालिटी का आपको मिलता है, जिससे बेटर क्वालिटी एम्ब्रियो रिजल्ट होता है. एंड व्हेन अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस बेसिकली जब आप एक अच्छा क्वालिटी ब्लास्ट डालेंगे अपने गुड सिंक्रोनाइज्ड, क्योंकि ब्लास्टोसिस्ट और जो लाइनिंग होती है जब हम डेवलप करके डालते हैं तो वो बेटर सिंक्रोनाइज होता है, बेटर क्रॉस टॉक होता है, तो उससे आपके चांसेस ऑफ इम्प्लांटेशन में इम्प्रूव. So looking at what all can be done when we have a history of repeated IVF failure is that as a patient, if you can get us a good history, your previous papers of these cycles, then it will give us a lot of understanding of your previous 5 cycles, why it may have failed. If we are able to understand how the lining of your uterus has been, what has been the thickness, how your egg and the sperm quality is, if the embryologist can give us the history or the details of how the sperm was like, कि egg कैसा था, egg का shape कैसा था, उसका cytoplasm कैसा था, whether it was a dark cytoplasm, whether it was a granular, उसका nucleus कैसा था, अगर वो ये हमें understanding दे सके, एक डिटेल दे सके, तो हम ये समझ सकते हैं कि आपकी उस साइड की क्वालिटी या कैसी रही. अगर आपके एम्ब्रियोज की डिटेल्स हमें मिल सके कि वो कौन से डे का ट्रांसफर था, उसके क्या ग्रेड थे, क्या क्वालिटी थे, अगर वो कितने सेल का था, क्योंकि समटाइम्स व्हेन द पीपल कम एंड दे से कि हमें तो कोई पेपर ही नहीं दिया गया, तो उसमें आप देन यू जस्ट डोंट नो वेयर टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम. इफ यू आर एबल टू गेट दोज पेपर, और या लिखा होता है 2 ग्रेड बी ट्रांसफर, 2 ग्रेड ए ट्रांसफर, क्या सेल था, क्या फ्रैगमेंटेशन था. अगर हम ये रिपोर्ट्स किसी तरीके से अगर हमें मिल सकती हैं, तो दैट रियली हेल्प्स अस टू अंडरस्टैंड वेयर थिंग्स वेंट रॉन्ग, एंड वी आर एबल टू काउंसल you properly, and make your next treatment plan properly to understand what we can do next. And apart from that, agar we can get the details of the transfer kaisa tha, whether it was an ultrasound guided transfer or a blind transfer, whether it was an easy transfer, कि पेन रहा या नहीं रहा. क्योंकि अगर ये एक पेनफुल ट्रांसफर जो बहुत ही काफ़ी देर तक चलता रहा हो, एंड तो हमें पता है कि ये डिफ़िकल्ट ट्रांसफ़र है. उस टाइम पे कई बार जो जब डिफ़िकल्ट ट्रांसफर्स होते हैं तो उनके फेल होने के चांसेस ज़्यादा होते हैं. सो इफ़ वी नो दैट इट हैज़ बीन अ डिफ़िकल्ट ट्रांसफर, देन वी नो दैट वी नाउ नीड टू correct the pathway to the uterus, maybe after doing hysteroscopy, or maybe if a laparoscopy is required. क्या एक अल्ट्रासाउंड, गुड अल्ट्रासाउंड जिसके अंदर हम ये देख सके कि कहीं हाइड्रोसल्पिंग्स तो नहीं है, क्या आपकी ट्यूब्स में पानी तो नहीं भरा हुआ, तो उसको अगर हमें क्लिप करके रिमूव करना है, तो ऑल दीज थिंग्स इंफॉर्मेशन इफ इज अवेलेबल, देन वी नो दैट हाउ टू इम्प्रूव the outcome in your next cycle. The other thing, that if a bubble was seen in the ultrasound, because यहाँ पे जब हम अल्ट्रासाउंड के थ्रू ट्रांसफर करते हैं, मतलब अल्ट्रासाउंड की हेल्प के साथ ट्रांसफर करते हैं, then we are seeing where we are placing the embryos, whether we have placed the embryo at the right position. If you place the embryos very low or very high, then because एक यूट्रस के अंदर एक इम्प्लांटेशन साइट होता है which is defined, एंड अगर आप उसके पास डालते हैं तो उससे जो आपके एम्ब्रियोज के इम्प्लांटेशन होने का जो चांस है वो इम्प्रूव होता है. सो इफ यू आर एबल, व्हेन यू डू एन अल्ट्रासाउंड गाइडेड एंड द डॉक्टर सेड ओके द बबल इज सीन, द बबल इज द एयर बबल हैज बीन रिलीज्ड एट द राइट स्पॉट, देन you are able to understand what to do next. And the other thing that the patient can do for you is that they think positive, they trust us, they trust that we would be able to do the best for them, and that is very important. And hence, so how we basically go ahead when we see a patient of repeated IVF failure after a good history, understanding the previous cycle, if we do basically a hysteroscopy for both, hysteroscopy for the female if has not been done, a laparoscopy may be added to the test if the hydrosalpinx is seen, or you see an endometriosis and you want to correct it before you want to transfer. And we do a thrombophilia testing if it has not been done previously. We may do a karyotyping depending on whether it has been done previously or not. Then a husband may be advised for a DNA fragmentation test, and the husband and the wife both are put on antioxidants. If they smoke or they drink, then they are advised not to do that. Then depending on we even discuss about ERA, and the ERA option, the endometrial receptivity array test is offered to them. Then we offer a pre-implantation genetic screening. Now sometimes depending on the previous reports, you see that there is a very thin lining, and when you see that the lining is very thin and unresponsive to hormonal replacement therapy, to aspirin, to sildenafil, to PRP, GCSF, then rarely we do discuss about surrogacy. And sometimes we have seen that in these patients surrogacy do come as a boon or a blessing. If the records show, or our own IVF cycle shows that the oocyte quality is poor, then we may even have to think about donor gamete or an oocyte donation. And apart from that, we need to understand that there is nothing like failure. Failure is just a learning experience, and there are no secrets to success. And Avaya really works on how to get success, and we have really high success rates here. and we do see a lot of patients with repeated implantation failures, repeated IVF failures, who do achieve success after the use of these specific tests like ERA and PGS and GCSF and PRP therapies. Uh, if there are, now there's few questions that we did get while we were doing this talk, and we are going to take them up. So we have somebody who's asked that she's 28 years old and her periods are irregular and she's trying for the last 2 years. What should she do? So my advice would be that if you're just first is to understand how irregular your cycles are, whether there is a pattern in those irregularity or they're completely irregular. Completely irregular means some cycle may be like 15 days and some cycle may be like 45 days, or they are like a bang, like a 45 or a 2-month cycle. So we need to understand your cycle, and hence it is best that you visit us. We would do an hormonal testing for you, an ultrasound, and because you are very young, you're only 28 years old, and hence most of the times when we know that the periods are irregular, then that means that there is some kind of an anovulation that is there. That means कि egg बनने में कहीं ना कहीं कोई problem है, and we may be able to help you with certain things like ovulation induction. Like आप सिर्फ एक tablets के साथ या few injections के साथ हम ये ovulation कर सकते हैं, and that may help you to conceive if the tubes and the sperm factor is fine. So we can basically, for you, because you're so young, you're only married, you're only trying for 2 years, and hence in your case we can try with ovulation induction initially, and side by side do other tests that like the sperm test and the tube test, and we can see that and hopefully you will get pregnant with something as simple as an ovulation induction. Another question that we have is that I am 42 years old, I want to conceive, I have a history of 2 IVF failures, and can you suggest what should I do? Now this is something that is pertaining to our topic of today. Now because you're 42 and hence and you have had 2 failures, so the best thing is that if you can, first of all we need to understand that these IVF have happened with your own eggs or the donor gametes have been used for you. Secondly, if your own eggs have been used, then maybe looking at the lining and then understanding whether the option of PGS should be offered to you, you should go ahead with PGS of your embryos. And if PGS is something which is not available to you at the place where you are, or you cannot do that or your center does not do it, then you come to a center, visit a center where a PGS can be offered, or because you're 42 and if susceptible, then a donor oocyte donation is a option that is also available to you. Apart from that, definitely because you're 42, then hysteroscopy should be done in your case if it has not been done till now. And so 2 things that are available to you is hysteroscopy, PGS, and the third thing which would always come down the line is a donor egg. I hope that answers your query, because most of the things rest we have discussed in the discussion itself, and I hope if still there's something that you think is you want to understand, then we are always available and you can always put down your questions. Okay, another question is, I am 27 years old, I'm married for 7 years and I've had 1 miscarriage 1.5 years back. Last year in November I had gone to hysteroscopy. Can I try for natural conception? Last year in November. If you have undergone an hysteroscopy in 2020, and of course you can start trying for your natural conception. And if you have visited us, then I'm 100% sure that we would have told you what is your fertile window and when you need to try. I hope you have started with your folic acid, and because you've had 1 miscarriage, 1 miscarriage. So the other thing that you can start at present is EcoSprint, we have seen very good results with EcoSprints, especially when you've started it before conception, and hence folic acid and EcoSprint is something that you should be on, and definitely because you have been trying only since 2 years, you've had conceived in that point of time, and one miscarriage can always happen because of very unexplained reasons, and it may just be by chance, and hence until unless we've seen patients with 2 or 3 miscarriages, we do not tend to do any more tests apart from basic hysteroscopy, just to see that everything inside has been normal. And yes, because you've just had done hysteroscopy in November, you can definitely start trying, because we usually don't recommend for 3 months after the miscarriage, but after hysteroscopy from the next cycle itself you can start trying and planning a pregnancy, of course. Another question that we have is, ma'am, I am 30 years old and my periods are regular, 31-day cycle. But when we are planning in that particular cycle, it goes to 35 or 36 days, or understand, please share, please guide, already done follicular, everything is over. Sometimes when you are planning in a cycle, and especially if you are being guided by a gynecologist, then what happens is that after your ovulation, your gynecologists tend to put you on progesterones to support the pregnancy, to maintain the progesterone after the ovulation happens. And they tend to give it for a period of about 14 days or 15 days after your ovulation. And what happens is that if that is the medicine that you are taking during your cycle, in which you are trying with your follicular monitoring, then what happens is that we need to understand that there is a physiology of what happens in a natural cycle. That means your FSH and LH starts to rise from the day 2, and in response to this FSH हार्मोन आपका egg develop होता है. When the LH, in response to, as the egg is growing, the estrogen starts to rise, the LH then reaches a peak value when it ovulates your egg. Now when your ovulation happens, उसके बाद another hormone comes to a play, which is progesterone, and it maintains your egg and the embryo. Now if suppose the embryo does not implant by the day 5, day 6, and your the progesterone tends to then fall because your egg is now gone. When the egg is gone, your embryo is not implanted, then this progesterone falls. When this progesterone falls, then it takes about exact 14 days after your ovulation for this progesterone to fall, and that is when your periods happen. And that is why you have a bang on regular cycle if you have this pattern. Your body is following this pattern. Now what happens when follicular monitoring is done, or you are on some external hormone, is that this pattern is not followed of the fall if the implantation is not happening, because from the external hormones the progesterone is maintained at that peak value, and your lining does not fail. The lining का जो support है वो नहीं खत्म होता है. Even when you stop your oral progesterones, it may take about 3 or 4 days in your body for these external hormones to wash off, and hence in those cycles where it should have gone longer. So what happens is that your progesterone is not falling, and you have this elongated cycles when your hormones have not fallen because of the natural physiological way of your cycles. And hence in those cycles where you are going in for a follicular and everything, that may be a reason why, because of the external hormones, your cycles are becoming abnormal in those cycles that you are planning. We have another person with, I'm 37 years old, 2 IVF, I think it's failed. Mrs. Suman, I think we have discussed this at length, that what all can be done. If your hysteroscopy has not been done, that is the first thing that you should undergo. You should have an clear understanding of your lining of the uterus, how good your lining is, and if your lining is good and your hysteroscopy is also okay, and if available, if you can, then you need to understand your embryos, what are the quality of your embryos, what has been the quality of your eggs, what day transfer has been done, whether it has been a day 3 or a day 5 transfer, uh, what was the, and if everything there seems right on track and everything else looks fine, then maybe it's time to go on to a high-end technology like an ERA or a PGS, which can help you to achieve success. I hope that briefly answers your question. I think that is the end of the question, and hence I think that brings us to the end of our topic as well. I think I've been able to solve most of the queries that you that would have been in your mind. You would have been able to understand why certain times when everything is okay, the cycle fails, and you may even understand what can be done to ensure that the next time the cycle may you may be able to have a good outcome. And thank you for watching. Do give us your feedback, and bye bye from here. Take care and have a good day.